So you've set out your goals and you know what you need to do, but at the moment it's a huge struggle just to get started. Well, worry not, Salad Cream Boy's got you covered. In this video I'm going to give you a few tips on how to gain some motivation so you can start getting those results quickly. This isn't about short-term fixes where you get a boost to your motivation which quickly fades away. These are sustainable practice which will endure and help you gain momentum. So, the task at hand may appear unpleasant, unappealing, and unsurmountable. You may even feel fearful, overwhelmed, and unsure where to start. So, as you take care of the little things around the edges, procrastination can kick in. Or you fret and worry rather than, like I say at work to certain people, and who will remain anonymous just out of respect, Bernie, bugger off and get on with it. I wasn't meant to say that, was I? Awkward. But Salad Cream Boy, you all-seeing heartthrob of a man, I hear you ask. What can we do to stop this happening? Well, my honest yet hypothetical friend, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take you through a few steps to get you through this. And we're starting right now. Stop trying to motivate yourself to do something that doesn't inspire you. Okay, you got me. So this first tip isn't necessarily something to get you motivated. What this is a friendly reminder to make sure that you are genuinely inspired by the task at hand and the goal that it will help you achieve. When we're inspired by something, it naturally aligns with our innate values and our purpose and our mindset. Things that we find inspirational speak to us at a primal level, and that makes us compelled to pursue and achieve them. Also, motivation is an external force which helps prompt action, overcome the feeling of being overwhelmed, and break through that wall of procrastination that helps us get moving. Motivational speakers will get their audience fired up to take action and behave in a certain way. If the motivation doesn't echo with the inner values and the beliefs of those who are receiving it, then it can be just, well, you know, short-lived. Just think of it as a business strategy that you don't believe in just because you think it's going to make you money quickly. If you're not passionate about that strategy and it doesn't align with your values, then it's hard to keep up and it's not going to last long term, which will make it even more difficult to commit to. If you're trying to get the motivation to do something that you're not inspired by or not passionate about, the effects of that motivation are just going to be temporary. Your motivation pushes you in one way and your natural resistance to it pulls you in the other. It's kind of like an equal and opposite tug of war. Ensure that you're genuinely inspired by your goals. Otherwise, you'll just be trying to motivate yourself and simultaneously resisting your own efforts, which ultimately is just going to get you nowhere. Get something meaningful, challenging, or unappealing done early in the day. So, the quickest and the most impactful way to get motivation and to gain momentum isn't to do the quickest and easiest stuff first. It's easy to fill up that list with trivial tasks and then complete and cross them off, while convincing yourself that you're being productive. Instead, you must work to achieve something significant. Start each day by taking on something meaty, a difficult or unappealing task where it's going to have a deep and significant impact once it's completed. And please do that as soon as physically possible. Actually, I like that meaty analogy because it's like a Sunday roast, for example. You really want to get into that meat first, and what you actually want to be doing is having a broccoli, a veg, and all that kind of stuff that you don't really want to have first. So you're actually all about wanting to just stuff that meat into you. Yeah, that sounded better in my head. My point is, it's better to have those things that you're not necessarily fond of first. That way, once you actually do get onto the meat, the Yorkshire puddings, the stuffing, that you're actually going to have a full meal and you're not going to be procrastinating over having anything later. So getting back to the point, in other words, as soon as you possibly can, as early in the day as possible, I want you to consider taking on a taxing and challenging task. early as possible and go at it until it's completed, finished and done. And don't start anything else until you've succeeded. For example, and also moving away from the meat analogy, when a car has broken down, it takes a huge push to start getting some inertia and to get it moving. Once it starts moving, the momentum starts to build. Once that happens, it's a lot easier and it takes a lot less energy to keep it moving and to get it to go faster. The same principle basically holds true for getting momentum at work. Once we put a significant amount of energy into getting the difficult things done first, then that starts the momentum for getting the easier stuff done later. So when we put significant effort into getting the difficult stuff done first, we kickstart the building of momentum. The endorphins are released as a result of having finished something that's really challenging, which makes us feel good. We then carry that motivation into other tasks. We then enter that place which some people call the zone, where progress and results seem to come effortlessly. The momentum and motivation will then just keep on building. Project yourself forwards and imagine that feeling when the task has finally been completed. So when you're struggling to get started and you find that you're procrastinating, you may be fearful of if you've got the necessary skills or experience, or you might just be dreading the experience itself and you're just fearful of what might happen. Don't worry, nothing to be ashamed of, happens to everyone, including me. So at times like these, I suggest projecting yourself forward and just imagine how it's going to feel when you finally finished and get the results that you want. The same principle applies if you're just getting up the courage to ask for a pay rise, to deal with a customer complaint, or even something as simple as just going to the gym. Yeah, I heard myself there. Forget that last one. Probably. We find that the first place we go to is that worst case scenario where the task is just going to be really dreadful and the outcome we just don't even want to think about. Instead of fearing the worst, try and imagine a time where you went through a similar situation or tried to complete a similar kind of task, and perhaps one that you've actually put off repeatedly. Remind yourself what you did, how you overcame it, and most importantly, why your fears were unfounded at the time. And here's the crucial bit, take that feeling of invincibility and just apply it to the task at hand. Honestly, you've got this. Seek the guidance of mentors and coaches who've overcome the challenges that you are facing. When you're struggling to see the path around an obstacle or difficulty, it can be reassuring to get some advice from coaches and mentors who've been in a similar kind of position before. They might bring a new perspective to the challenge and may suggest ways of tackling the problem which you may have been blinded to. Often, people who are being mentored and coached often feel that they are benefiting from this because they're offloading their problems onto them, and the catharsis of venting to someone who understands what they're going through. They then know what needs to be done, and having cleared their minds can gain the focus to be able to complete that task. Okay, so we do learn from our mistakes. However, another way, and maybe more effective way, is to be able to learn from other people's mistakes and their successes as well. This is what a good mentor or coach will allow you to do. Mentors can keep you accountable for the things that you said you was going to do. So, for example, if you are going to the gym and you know you're going alone, you are going to be a bit easier on yourself and you're going to be using the smaller weights. And then you're just going to convince yourself that you've done enough. A good trainer will actually push you to your limit so that you can get the full benefit of the workout. A good mentor will do exactly the same kind of thing by forcing you out of your own way and stopping you from believing your own lies and excuses. Get yourself fired up and ready for action. Everyone has their own triggers to get them in the zone, in a peak state, and ready to take on any challenge. These triggers come in many forms. You may rely on a really strong cup of coffee, or maybe even some inspiring music to get you into that state. Others might favour going to the gym, or even just a walk in nature, or even meditate and visualising themselves completing that task effortlessly. However you want to get into that kind of frame of mind, it often helps getting a good routine at the start of the day to help you get through and get onto that task. However, and I know myself, it's easily done, don't let those habits and rituals become some form of procrastination for not doing the work. Don't let it be the case that you absolutely have to have that coffee, go to the gym, have that walk before you are able to do anything. That's the kind of risk that you take. One personal suggestion, a way of stopping that procrastination in the morning, is to set an alarm for a specific time or a countdown timer, maybe an hour tops, and honestly, as soon as that alarm sounds, you stop and you go. Like I said earlier, bugger off and get on with it. Establish a mental link between the things that you need to do and the goals that you want to achieve. Sometimes it feels that the tasks and the goals that they go towards feel a bit abstract and inconsequential, meaning that they're not really connected to each other. It may be an idea to start forming a mental link between the tasks and the goals. This will reinforce the benefits of taking action. It doesn't matter whether your goals are experimental, spiritual, or material. Build a conceptual link between the things that you want to do, achieve, or accumulate, and the task that needs to be done right now. This helps make the abstract measurable and the conceptual into something more tangible. It applies whether your dream is to quit your job, buy a new car or home, take a holiday, or even spend more time with your family. So one thing that might be on your mind is to get that dream home in the countryside maybe. So when you're struggling to apply yourself to a certain task, whether to review a legal document, prepare a talk, or even record a YouTube video like this one, it helps to picture those activities contributing to getting that house in the countryside, getting that car, quitting that job, spending more time with your family. This is of course how great and significant goals are met. One step, one action, and one achievement at a time. So once you've established that you're genuinely inspired to do the task at hand, I really do hope that you find these tips helpful to motivate you and to give everything that you can to complete that task that you've been procrastinating on. So I really do hope that this video has helped with your motivation. So please don't go and read something else. Don't go and listen to a podcast or more motivational videos. What I do want you to do is turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off the mobile data, whatever you need to do, and get started right now. Because it's like I always say, at the end of the day, it gets dark.